Have you been feeling more tired than usual lately? Maybe a little puffy around your eyes in the morning, your rings tighter than they used to be, your energy dipping for no clear reason, and you've been telling yourself it's just age. What if it's not? What if right now your kidneys are under silent stress and you have absolutely no idea? Here's the part most Americans don't realize. Kidney damage doesn't come with a dramatic warning. It doesn't knock you down overnight. It builds quietly and visibly sometimes for years. While you're still going to work, still driving, still thinking you're basically healthy. And by the time your doctor says your creatinine is rising or your GFR is slipping, the pressure has already been there for a long time. I'm Dr. Mark Ellis, and after years of seeing patients who were shocked by their lab results, I can tell you this: the real danger isn't sudden failure. It's the slow decline you never felt coming. The fatigue you brushed off, the swelling you ignored, the blood pressure that crept up 1 point at a time. But here's what gives me hope, and what I want you to understand before fear takes over: your kidneys are incredibly resilient when you support them early. You don't need extreme cleanses. You don't need expensive detox kits. You need to reduce the stress that's quietly wearing them down. And today I'm going to show you a simple science-backed way to do exactly that, starting in your own kitchen. Because sometimes protecting your kidneys doesn't begin in a hospital. It begins with what you choose to put on your plate. Let's start with something most people underestimate: oxidative stress. This is the invisible pressure building inside your kidneys every single day. Every minute your kidneys filter about half a cup of blood. That constant filtration creates unstable molecules called free radicals. Over time, those molecules begin damaging the tiny filtering units inside your kidneys, the nephrons, and you won't feel it happening. No pain, no warning, just slow decline. This is where gooseberry, also known as amla, becomes powerful. It's one of the most concentrated natural sources of vitamin C and plant antioxidants available. And antioxidants matter because they neutralize oxidative stress before it scars kidney tissue. Research published in nutrition and nephrology journals shows that higher antioxidant intake is associated with lower inflammatory markers and reduced cellular damage in high-risk populations, especially those with elevated blood sugar. I remember a 62-year-old patient who came in saying, "I just feel a little more tired lately." His lab showed early kidney stress, not failure, but the kind of subtle shift that often gets ignored. He wasn't on dialysis, he wasn't in crisis, but his blood sugar was fluctuating and inflammation markers were creeping up. We focused on stabilizing glucose levels and increasing antioxidant-rich foods. Within months, his numbers steadied. Not magic, not a detox gimmick, just consistent cellular protection. And that's the key. Amla doesn't flush your kidneys overnight. It reduces internal stress so your kidneys can function efficiently over time. It also helps improve insulin sensitivity, which matters because diabetes remains one of the leading causes of kidney disease in the United States. Stable blood sugar means less long-term pressure on the filtration system. About half a cup of fresh gooseberries a day, or 1 to 2 tablespoons of pure amla powder, is enough. Consistency beats extremes every time. But protecting kidney cells from oxidative damage is only the first layer of defense, because even perfectly protected cells can struggle if the blood vessels supplying them are under strain, and that vascular pressure may be even more dangerous than oxidative stress itself. Now, even if you protect kidney cells from oxidative stress, there's another silent threat most people overlook: blood vessel damage. Because your kidneys are not just filters, they are vascular organs. They rely on thousands of tiny, delicate blood vessels to push waste out of your bloodstream. If those vessels stiffen, narrow, or inflame, filtration slows down no matter how healthy you think you are eating. This is where black raspberries step in, and they're not just trendy superfoods. Their deep purple color comes from anthocyanins, powerful plant compounds shown to support endothelial function, which is the inner lining of your blood vessels. When that lining is healthy, vessels stay flexible, blood flows smoothly, pressure stays controlled, and your kidneys can filter efficiently without strain. A 58-year-old woman once told me, "My labs were fine last year, so I stopped worrying." 12 months later, her blood pressure had climbed quietly. Nothing dramatic, just 5 to 10 points higher. But here's the reality: even mild sustained increases in blood pressure can accelerate kidney damage. Research in cardiovascular and renal journals consistently shows that anthocyanin-rich berries improve vascular flexibility and reduce inflammatory markers associated with hypertension. Think of it this way. You can have the best water filter in the world, but if the pipes feeding it are clogged or under pressure, the system fails. Half a cup to 1 cup of black raspberries daily fresh or frozen can support circulation in a meaningful way. It's not a quick fix. It's structural support for the system doing the detoxing. And let me ask you directly, has your blood pressure crept up over the last few years? Even slightly if so, that's not random. That's vascular stress. And vascular stress is kidney stress. But stabilizing circulation alone isn't enough. Because even with healthy vessels and reduced oxidative damage, there's another force that quietly erodes kidney function in millions of Americans every single day. And it often starts with what happens after you eat. Now let's talk about the pressure that doesn't come from your blood vessels but from your blood sugar. Because even if oxidative stress is controlled and circulation is supported, repeated glucose spikes can quietly scar your kidneys from the inside out. This is not dramatic. It's not immediate. It's microscopic damage happening day after day, especially after meals that send your blood sugar soaring. This is where strawberries become far more powerful than people assume. They're not just a sweet snack, they're metabolically strategic. Strawberries are rich in fiber, vitamin C, and anti-inflammatory compounds like anthocyanins and ellagic acid. Fiber slows glucose absorption. Slower absorption means fewer spikes. Fewer spikes mean less long-term strain on the glomeruli, the tiny filtration units inside your kidneys. I once worked with a 64-year-old man who wasn't diabetic, but his fasting glucose was creeping upward year after year. "I don't eat that bad," he said. And technically he didn't, but his meals lacked fiber balance. We didn't overhaul his life. We added structured fiber sources, including berries, and stabilized his post-meal spikes. 6 months later, his glucose variability improved, and more importantly, his kidney markers stopped drifting in the wrong direction. Large population studies have shown that higher berry intake is associated with reduced inflammatory biomarkers and improved insulin sensitivity. And considering that diabetes remains one of the leading causes of kidney disease in the United States, stabilizing blood sugar isn't optional, it's protective strategy. 1 cup of strawberries a day, fresh or frozen, simple, sustainable, powerful. But here's the part most people miss. Even if you stabilize blood sugar and reduce inflammation, aging itself continues to generate oxidative wear inside the kidneys. Time does not pause. Cellular stress does not stop. And there is one fruit studied more extensively than almost any other for slowing that internal aging process. Even if you control blood sugar, reduce inflammation, and support circulation, there is one force that never stops working against your kidneys aging at the cellular level. Every single day, your kidneys are exposed to oxidative byproducts simply because they are filtering nonstop. It's like metal exposed to moisture. Even if you wipe it down, microscopic corrosion still forms over time. And that slow, invisible wear is what accelerates kidney decline after 60. This is where blueberries stand out, not as a trendy superfood, but as one of the most researched fruits in clinical nutrition. Blueberries are packed with anthocyanins and polyphenols that neutralize free radicals before they damage kidney tissue. Multiple studies published in medical and cardiovascular journals link regular blueberry consumption to reduced oxidative stress, improved endothelial function, and lower inflammatory markers, all directly connected to long-term kidney resilience. I remember a retired school teacher, 67 years old, who told me I feel fine, so I stopped worrying about my labs. But here's what many people don't understand. Kidney decline often accelerates silently with age, even in people who feel perfectly normal. When we reviewed his trend over 5 years, the change wasn't dramatic, just gradual. That's how it happens. Not a crash, a slope. We didn't introduce extreme interventions. We focused on consistency, daily antioxidant protection. Blueberries became part of his routine, not as medicine, but as maintenance. And that's the shift people need to understand. Protection is not reactive. It's preventive. Half a cup to 1 cup daily is enough. Fresh or frozen, it doesn't matter. What matters is repetition. Because oxidative stress isn't occasional, it's daily. But even with strong antioxidant defense, healthy vessels, and stable glucose, There's one more pathway people ignore completely, and if this pathway becomes inflamed, it can undo everything else. Now here's the part almost no one talks about: the exit pathway. Your kidneys can filter beautifully, your blood vessels can stay flexible, your blood sugar can be stable. But if the pathway that carries waste out of your body becomes irritated or infected, everything backs up under pressure. This is where cranberries become far more strategic than most people realize. They don't just help with bladder issues, they protect the entire urinary tract, the final route your body uses to eliminate toxins. Cranberries contain compounds called pro-anthocyanidins that prevent bacteria, especially E. coli, from attaching to the lining of the urinary tract. If bacteria can't stick, they can't multiply. And if they can't multiply, they can't travel upward toward the kidneys. I once treated a 70-year-old patient who kept experiencing mild urinary infections. Nothing dramatic at first, just discomfort and antibiotics every few months. But recurrent infections increase inflammation, and inflammation increases kidney strain. Over time, repeated episodes can scar tissue. What seems minor becomes cumulative damage. Clinical studies published in major medical journals show that consistent cranberry intake reduces the recurrence of certain urinary tract infections, particularly in older adults. And this matters more than people think, because untreated or repeated infections can ascend toward the kidneys, and kidney infections are not minor events. They can permanently reduce function. About half a cup of fresh cranberries or 4 to 8 ounces of unsweetened cranberry juice daily is enough. Not the sugary cocktail blends. Pure diluted if needed. Simple, preventive, protective. Think of it like this: you can have the cleanest water filter in the world, but if the drain pipe is clogged with bacteria and inflammation, the system fails. Protection isn't just about filtering better, it's about clearing the path. And here's the deeper truth. When oxidative stress, vascular pressure, blood sugar, instability, cellular aging, and infection risk are all addressed together, you're no longer chasing detox trends. You're building long-term resilience. But understanding these 5 pieces individually still isn't the full picture, because how you combine them and how consistently you apply them may ultimately determine whether your kidneys stay strong or slowly decline. If there's one thing I want you to take away from this, it's this: your kidneys are not fragile, but they are quiet. They work for you every hour of every day without asking for attention. And most of the time, when something begins to go wrong, they don't cause pain. They simply adapt until they can't anymore. The goal isn't fear. The goal is awareness and early consistent protection. You don't need to change your entire life overnight. Start simple. Add one of these fruits this week. Stay hydrated. Keep your blood pressure under control. Pay attention to your blood sugar. Ask your doctor about your creatinine and GFR if you haven't checked them recently. Small, steady habits protect kidney function far more effectively than dramatic short-term detox trends ever will. If this video helped you understand your kidneys a little better, I encourage you to save it so you can come back to these strategies anytime. And subscribe to the channel so you don't miss upcoming science-based medical insights designed to help you protect your kidney health long-term. I share the latest research, practical guidance, and real-world strategies you can actually apply. Your kidneys are still working for you right now, and with the right daily choices, they can continue working for you for many years to come. Protect them early, protect them consistently, and give your future self the strength, clarity, and independence you deserve.